Hey there, welcome back. It's Basic Dude, and we're on our ninth mission in our Hard Wings of Liberty campaign. Welcome to the jungle. In this campaign, we're going to try to obtain the 120k credits and 3 Protoss research credits. Those are our objectives. And when the screen comes up, you'll see that there's going to be a total of 13 terrazine gas geysers. And it's a race for the best of 7. You versus the Protoss. The mission is non-stop action once we get past the initial building stages, and right away you want to start gathering your minerals, grouping your forces, and building your army. It's going to be fun. Not a lot of characterization fun, so we're going to kind of watch along with you this time. Hopefully, the few tips I'll pass along will be helpful, and we'll just see how this one works itself out. So here we go. You want to go ahead and attach your tech lab to the barracks as soon as possible so you can get a medic out there. Now there is a big difference from the casual and normal levels when you start playing the hard and brutal level, and that is that the Protoss become more aggressive and they're a lot stronger and they are more numerous. So there's going to be attacks and continuous movement. So let's see what we can do while we're building our forces here. Again, the initialization is to get some more minerals, build your army. So here we go. As you see here, we're finally getting a supply depot and waiting for something to happen. Oops, forgot to key our Marine to his rally point, which is in the center. So we got one guy hanging there doing nothing. I'm going to bring him out and do that. Here we go. There we go again. The key to this mission is what the Protoss are going to be throwing at you. And this is going to be a heavy air mission. Protoss will be predominantly air attacks, and that's going to be the Void Rays and the Phoenix. A couple of stalkers. That's your normal, the makeup of your normal Protoss army. We're going to get a couple of Colossus mixed in here eventually, and so you're going to need quite a force. And if you recall, this is one of the missions that has a feat of strength attached to it, which you can obtain by destroying the 2 Protoss bases in the north. And initially that was our objective. As we go through it, we'll notice that we kind of change along the way. Again, anytime you're doing a mission in the campaign for the first time, if you will, you want to get your credits and your Research credits obtained. That should be your primary objective in terms of completing the mission. Secondary objectives, hey, they're fun to get, but you can move forward without them. And once you've obtained them, they're not obtainable in more than once. So anyway, here we go. There we go. There's our first Protoss attempt at capping a geyser. We attacked it with our army, and luckily we were able to walk away from that one without them capping the geyser. There's 13 geysers again. 7 for you is a win, 7 for them. You lose. So keep that in mind. The key again is a mobile army. And since we're going to be faced with some heavy air in the Protoss army, you want to have plenty of Marines. Marines are the key here, and you're going to need plenty of medics. And though they introduced the Goliath in this particular mission as the new unit, the Goliath is not as strong, I think, as 2 Marines back supported by medics against the air. And I just happen to think they're a little bit cumbersome, take up too much space for their value. So I don't even think we add one here throughout the mission. We start with 3, and have to see what we end up with. Maybe as many as 0, but I'm pretty sure we don't add any. We do have Vikings available to us, but because we're going for that feat of strength, I don't want to expend my mercenary Vikings or build up a Viking force, which takes up a lot of minerals and gas before I developed a good foot army, ground army. So here we go. The Protoss are trying to cap their second Terrazine geyser, and again the objective here is to stop them. There we go. We've got our attack going, and success is on our way. The time that the probe needs to cap a geyser, or that a SCV needs to gather from a geyser, is about 1 minute of game time. Again, game time minutes. Remember that game time minutes at the hard level and brutal level is not a real minute. So keep that in mind, and again, keep your army fluid and keep them in motion. Any action that you take will trigger a reaction from the Protoss. And any action, by any action I mean any stopping of their capping a geyser, any attempt to gather from a geyser, or to gain a Protoss relic will result in a counterattack. This is not casual anymore, and it's a little bit above normal, but it is fun. The action is there. Should enjoy this. A little bit of a challenge. You can make it more challenging just by being greedy and trying to cap the geyser. This mission's going to take a while again because we're looking toward building a big army so we can obtain that feat of strength. And so let's keep on going. We have a number of geysers in. Again, it's almost been non-stop. We just got through with one, and here we go. They're capping another. We're trying to cap another. It's good luck to them. We're moving. We're getting a decent-sized army together. not necessarily huge, but you really want to have a roughly around 20 units in your force at all times, minimum when you're attacking, protecting, whatever. And as you see, we're at, again, we're trying to build as big of a ground army as we can before I supplement it with the Vikings, which are available to us, which are really important, but because they do take up a lot of gas and are somewhat more expensive in this early stage, I really kind of put them off. So again, that's about where we are. Now you do have an expansion just outside your base, so let's call it a click away, right behind the Protoss relic there. You want to try to avoid that till you've got a force of, I would say, in the 30 plus range in your attacking force, only because it's fairly well defended with cannons, etc. And you just don't want to end up with a decimated army, because it's just gets to be a little sticky as these attacks and your attempts to prevent capping of a geyser proceed. There we go. We've got another attempt here by the Protoss that we're going to stop. One thing I do want to mention here is you want to include a number of marauders in your attacking force, primarily so that they can focus on the stalkers and the probe gathering the geyser, as they cannot attack air, so they'll be attacking those units and kind of free up your Marines to defend against the air attacks by the Void Rays, which are vicious. As the longer a Void Ray exists, the stronger its ray becomes. So you want to try to get rid of those as quickly as possible. They are the strongest unit that you'll face outside of the Colossus, and there's quite a few Colossus in here, but they come a little bit later, and by the time they come along, you'll be able to handle those with Vikings. And here we go, we're going to take that base. Now another thing here to keep in mind, the normal and casual level, the Protoss don't rebuild their bases. In this particular instance, you're going to see that because we don't clear out the base, we're going to get called away for another capping event. They're going to rebuild. Not you don't want to be, keep on destroying and fighting for every inch, because it does cost Marines. Here we go. We're going forward now. There's our first Colossus, and he will just make mincemeat out of your army. As you see, look at that. He's just tearing me a new one. And luckily we're able to get him down, and we will be able to stop this capping event by the Protoss with the help of the Marauders that I mentioned, because they took care of that probe quite quickly. And so luckily we're able to get this one across and take care of that. But again, non-stop. It's almost like There we go, because right away we get another attack from a capping group, and we've got to take care of that, where our force was dwindled in half, or almost all. Medics help to keep you alive, not fight, so we're in pretty dire shape right now. We do get fortunate and are able to survive this one. Again, so we're gonna make it. Alright, coming back into our base, you see the Protoss have done some rebuilding here. Not a happy time. We're going to clear that base out so that it will be a little bit more difficult for them to come back. And actually, we're going to build a command center in its place, so that we don't have to spend the time here destroying it over and over again. And that time here is precious if you're going to having to destroy everything. You're going to lose time in terms of being able to stop the capping ventures by the Protoss. And there we go. Here's another capping attempt that we've got to deploy our troops against. And we've got a force of just over 24. And this is barely adequate, really, to do the job. And I say barely adequate in that it's a little bit of a struggle. Obviously, it's fewer forces, it takes a lot more time, and more time brings you closer to the spread of where the next event will happen. So my goal is to build that ground force, and again, because of the severity of the attacks, the Protoss took their toll on the forces. Now you want to keep your force in the middle, actually just a little bit north of that expansion, to give you a little bit more map control and the centrality of that location, if centrality is a word, allows you to react to where the Protoss will go next. And since we're not capping any geysers at this point, the Protoss actually have 13 different places that they can attempt to cap. So again, that fluid motion, or ability to be fluid and defend and stop the Protoss from capping a geyser is really important. We're attempting to stop another cap attempt by the Protoss. In the meantime, we're building up our forces. And again, here comes another Colossus. It's sometimes you look at it and say, "Gee, what are you going to do about that guy?" And you can put your Vikings out there, and we do have the mercenary Vikings available to us, but I think that the Vikings in small numbers, and I say small numbers, under 12, against these forces without adequate ground support are really too weak to be a substance in your army. The backbone of your army, I think, is your ground troops, your bile ball, if you will, and as many Marines with some medics and a few marauders is where this mission at this particular level is is destined to be successful. So again, you want to control your expansion base and control that just north of their center area so that you can keep that fluid motion going. We're going to go ahead and build a geyser, get some more gas started, but we need to set up our perimeter here with bunker and some missile turrets. Really important. Even though we expect they will be destroyed because we're not manning them with Marines and Marauders, it will slow the Protoss down long enough for you to come back and not lose your entire base. Here we go again, trying to stop a capping attempt by the Protoss. This one's up in the northeast corner, and here we are. And as you see, if you look at the gray bar up above the geyser, you'll see that we're really cutting some of these pretty close. And the heartbreaking loss of having one of those capped at when you've set your objective is kind of sad. Now here we make a little bit of a tactical error. You want to attack that base there from the rear. We moved our forces a little bit too far. They got caught up in by the void rays that were there, and so we're gonna have a little bit more difficult of a time to destroy this base. We're gonna take a few losses that we probably could have avoided had we not overshot our attempt to go around the base. Not that it makes that much difference. This is a small base, but you want to attack it from the rear. Obviously, see the cannons are facing forwards, and so again, a attack from the rear will give you a little bit more time to deal, or a little bit better ability to deal with that base. We've pretty much tapped out the Vespene there. We're going to move over to our expansion base with those SCVs and start mining there. Here's a kind of a cute one. We got that base cleared out just in time to handle the attempt by the Protoss to close off the next geyser. And again, fortunately, we're in the right place at the right time. That location. Own as much real estate as you can. Don't worry about the market value. They only make so much real estate. Eventually, it's going to have to come back. And again, as you see it, the action is continuous here in terms of if the Protoss aren't capping, they're attacking, and if we were simultaneously trying to gather the Terrazine, they would be defending against our gathering attempt. So this gets to be pretty much a ongoing battle. A few seconds that you get to, as we're taking here the time here to rebuild your base, etc., is nominal, and we want to, but you need to do it because again, you want to defend your SCVs. Now there also is a achievement, if you recall, of not losing an SCV, so this was also part of the initial plan. But the viciousness of the attacks by the Protoss against our bases going to thwart that. But Again, you need to defend them because they're the only ones that can gather the terrazine. And as you see, we've called in our 6 Viking mercenaries. And here we go with another attack by the Protoss against our base. And a lot of these, if you keep your eye on that mini-map, you'll get a little bit of an indication of where the Protoss are. They'll show up as a little movement blur, blink, whatever on the mini-map. And so you can get a little bit of heads up if you pay attention there. And again, the AI is doing a great job of keeping you moving because it's always cross away from you that the next action takes place. And here we again stop that capping attempt, but at the same time here comes another Protoss squad to attack our base, but we're going to intercept them and they're going to come back for the attack on our particular troops. And this time we're going to take out that Colossus with our Vikings, and again, continued success is ours.
Mineral field completed.
Is it critical?
So again, we're controlling that middle area. Our home base is pretty much mined out. And we're now going to start building up our forces toward what was again still our goal at this point in the game, to do that feat of strength. And me being me, I wanted to be at 200 of 200. So that's my own personal thing. Whether you want to try it with fewer forces, good luck to you. Overwhelming power is overwhelming power. And that's where I was headed. But anyway, here we go. We're going to start going after another capping event. This one is up in the northeast corner. And as you see, right across from us there is that 3rd Protoss relic. And we're going to have to get that eventually. Here we have a little bit of a proximity issue because we're right next to the Protoss base there. We end up losing a Viking in that melee as a result of him getting caught in the Protoss base. So, hey, it happens, but we're going to be building those up in a second. Here we are building our starports. We're adding those, and placement is crucial. I didn't leave enough room for the reactor. Whoops, never mind, huh? But let's keep on going. Better bring our Vikings back. They will be repaired a little bit by the SCVs. And we're building. This mission, by the way, I exhausted all of our mercs available, which were the war pigs, and that was 4 troops of them. And the 2 gaggles of Vikings. So we got our 6 mercenary Vikings. Here we go. We're going after that 3rd Protoss relic. And if you see, we're getting some zealots to attack us there. They're coming out of the warp prism. So you want to take that warp prism out as quickly as possible so that they don't keep on warping in more units to fight. Alright, there goes the relic in. lo and behold, there we are again, another capping event. We're luckily in the right place at the right time. We don't have to go cross country. But look at all the forces we've got to go through to get this accomplished. It's just, again, this is, if you will, somewhat hard. At least I found it to be hard. Maybe you'll find it to be a little bit easier, and good luck to you. But here we go. Colossus, Void Rays, Phoenix. And actually, at the brutal level, you're going to get all that plus more. So keep it in mind. This is a fun mission. You don't get a lot of time to sit back and enjoy the scenery, even though Tosh told you it's much prettier than Redstone. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. Gonna go ahead and get our supply depots in there so that we can start building our Vikings. And you want to add a reactor to both of your starports so that you can build them for at a time. We're going to accumulate some minerals and start building those Vikings shortly. You'll notice that one of my reactors didn't go down. I don't know if it was a proximity issue that I missed or not, but hey, oh well, so we get them 3 at a time instead of 4. I have to live with it. Again, we're still on the quest, if you will, to get that feat of strength achievement. So we're still building our force. If you're not going for that achievement, you can be more aggressive, if you will, in terms of gathering your Vespene, but keep in mind that you will face more attacks. And if you're going to do this with an army of 20-ish, good luck to you. I don't think that's adequate. At least for me, it was not adequate. You want to have an army in that 30 to 40 range, 30 plus 40 range, to kind of have a little bit of an easier go at it, and being supplemented with, right now we've got 10 Vikings. We're going to end up with 24 to be supplemented with a number of Vikings. This makes the job a lot easier. So here we go. Building those Vikings, and we're going to go ahead and stop this capping attempt. Now you'll notice that the AI is taking us cross country, cross map, so we have approximately 1 game minute to destroy the Protoss force and that probe before the geyser's capped, and we're really running this one close to the gut. So, anticipation would be nice, but if we're not capping, we haven't eliminated any. So there's 13 opportunities all the time for the Protoss right now. Okay, we're getting more forces, and again, we're Marine heavy because of the air portion of the Protoss force. Even though now we've supplemented it with some Vikings. I'm just a Marine fanatic, and nothing wrong with that. Hoorah! Okay. Again, got to rebuild our defenses on the base. Probably would have been, or could have been, cheaper to fill them with troops, but we would have shorted our attacking force at the time that these things were being built. And again, I think we need to be somewhat realistic in saying that without that attacking force, you're not going to win. So that's your primary objective. This is the second attempt at the Protoss of capping that geyser in the lower left-hand corner. And again, they're taking this cross map, really stretching us on time and reaction time. And it's going to be one of the reasons why we kind of abandon the feat of strength objective and settle for not letting them cap any of the geysers rather. So again, we got a pretty nice force now. We're not having as much difficulty once we engage the Protoss, but we still are taking some losses, which it's just going to happen, I guess. If Protoss are upgraded, I believe at this point they were at level 1, 2 for their air units, and it's pretty strong. And so they're doing some pretty significant damage against your units when they attack. Okay, we've now got all our supply depots built, and we're going to start gathering the Vespene, because you see there's a Protoss force coming down. There they are. Try to cap our Vespene. That's the third in a row cross-country capping attempt. Not so much, I guess a little frustrating. And I also see that at this rate, we won't be able to get to that 200 supply thing that I'd like to have to attack the Protoss base. So we're going to quote-unquote settle for the victory as opposed to total annihilation. I guess it's better to win the battle than lose the war. But again, as you notice, there's multiple attacks, different point of attacks by the Protoss. So even though I've only got 2 control groups, my units are luckily, I guess, somewhat spread out, so they're able to handle the Protoss thrusts. And so a little bit of luck, like in any war, don't hurt a thing. A little lull in the action here, and we're going to start capping, start gathering rather, some of the terrazine for our portion of the mission. So that lull is going to be short-lived. And here it is. The attack is forthcoming, and we're going to have to react to it. Now, just to make mention, I would have started capping at about this point in any case, because I wanted to be at 6 capped geysers before I attacked that base, just in case I didn't make it. Because it's with the strength of the Protoss in terms of their levels and the types of units we're facing, there would have been a chance that at 200 I would have been in deep trouble, losing a lot of units in the attack. And since we're low on minerals, they wouldn't have been able to be replenished. And so we just did it. Again, here we go. Protoss with another attempt on that geyser. This time we're going to go ahead and take care of that, and we're also going to gather from that geyser so that there's no more this cross-country day tripping. Just because they're changing the strategy, we're going to change the method. So here we go. And again, you see we're really cutting some of these pretty close, within 10 game seconds of having that particular geyser capped by the Protoss. So non-stop action. It's a little tense. We've got quite a bit of a bank of minerals, and we've got a nice little army put together, but just no matter what, not enough. So we're gonna build that army some more, get some more of the Vikings out there, and just kind of control the mission a little bit better and move it towards its eventual closure. One of the objectives, I don't know if I mentioned it, is because at the hard level, not to lose a SCV to the Protoss. Now, that means any SCV, not just the ones gathering gas. As you see, a lot of my SCVs are done mining. Probably should have moved them back to the base, but we get quite a few losses here. Whoops. So that's going to be out of the question for this particular mission. So again, we've got a successful mission going. Just is it really everything we wanted? Nah. Yeah. So did we end up replaying the mission to achieve those objectives? Sure did. And but you're not going to see that. We're going to deal with the first attempt here. We're building our army. Our army's in good shape. We've got a couple of more geysers to gather from, and we're going to make Tosh happy. Always want to see those Jamaicans happy, don't you? Don't worry, be happy. I think was the name of that particular song. Oh, there we go. This SCV just wants to repair stuff, doesn't want to cap the gas. So here we go. Now we're in anticipation. Now we're going to wait for the Protoss attack, which is forthcoming. Again, anytime any action that's going to end up in the reaction by the Protoss, and it's just a matter of which one you want to defend against first. So, because we're still not wanting to lose SCVs to the Protoss, we want to defend that SCV. Again, the gathering cycle, if you will, takes 1 minute, and seems like an eternity when you're waiting for them. No doubt about it. We're waiting for 7 of them, so that's where we are. We're going to go ahead, and we've got 2 here that we're going to take one at a time.
Keep it up.
And again, if we need to find an SCV that's not busy, sitting around doing nothing, to start the process. Now, if you'll also notice, and And as you get closer to your
Transmission.
7 limit, the Protoss attacks get a little bit stronger. So again, if you're doing this on a geyser by geyser basis, in terms, and I mean that, you know, as you get into an area, you're going to gather the terrazine from that location. Anticipate that you're going to need a stronger and larger army, because the reaction by the Protoss is stronger and larger. And if it's not stronger in units, it does speed up their upgrades in terms of unit strength. So keep that in mind if you're playing the mission for the first time here. I actually even think that the continuation, or if you will, this strategy that I'm using, even though it failed to obtain the, let's say, end objective of doing the feat of strength by conquering the north base, it helped me achieve the other objective of not having a geyser capped, and minimize the losses in the overall mission. So again, this is not overly stressful, but it's a little hectic. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and get the other geyser in that particular area now that we've thwarted the Protoss counterattack. And here comes the guy with the beer. He's got green beer in that little keg of his that he should have dropped off at the command center. But everybody's going to get some green beer right now. And here come those Protoss. And this attack is fairly easily defended because of the size of our army. Yeah, what, 72 and 24 Vikings. Got a nice little army hanging there. I'll say that I think we've given up on the feat of strength at this point, but we've got adequate forces. Maybe should have done a quick save somewhere along the way here and seen how that turned out. But as you know, I'm not much into that quick save, go forward, redo, if you will. Mission life is not a redo. You make a mistake, pay the consequences, go to the next one. That's a philosophy. Sorry. This redo, quick save thing is a preference, is a personal preference that I try to avoid. I'm not saying I've never done it, I'm saying I just try to avoid it. Here we go. Now we're going into this area, which is actually going to become the final area. Mission's we're in the 51-minute mark of the game time clock. We've got quite a few units, but the attacks are really getting obnoxious, and it's obnoxious from the standpoint that they are taxing where our supply, mineral supply is way down. We're not going to be able to replenish a lot more, and the attacks are taking a toll on our units, so it's really time to get this show over with. So here we go. Now Tasha's congratulating us on our aggressiveness, and whatever. So anyway, mission goes along. We're going to go ahead and take these last two geysers and run this mission out. I hope you enjoyed it. Just to give you a quick forward look, we stopped 17 geyser capping attempts of Protoss. We didn't let anything get capped, so we got that achievement. We got all our relic achievements. We did a decent job. We're able to go to the next mission. But again, I hope you had some fun. I hope you learned something. And actually, I hope you come back to see the next one. It's been fun, and it's time to go, so have a good one. Till next time, Basic Dude saying, take care, goodbye, and woohoo, let's have fun.